Yeah, man, to hear past episodes of the Rap Radar podcast, what do they have to do, B-Dot?
It's easy. Sign up for Tidal at tidal.com/onair. Receive a 3-month complimentary membership. You'll get access to over 48 million songs, 175,000 videos.
And don't forget the exclusive concert live streams, the ticket giveaways, and so much more. Go to tidal.com on air. Yeah, Rap Radar podcast, Elliot Wilson. B-Dot, this is legendary, man.
Yes, sir.
This guy's from Queens.
Yes, I am.
He's one of us, man.
Yes, he is.
Welcome to the tribe.
Yeah.
Where do you start? What do you call yourself? There's too many occupations.
I don't even have. Oh, I had a bunch of nicknames.
We're gonna get to the commissioner. Oh, that's my favorite.
That's probably the only one I got. Yeah, look, man, I'm an entrepreneur.
All right, I'm gonna do it for you. All right, this is how I know this guy, man. First of all, what I knew about him was you hear about this guy. Well, first I know your background is Kid and Play, road manager for Kid and Play.
That's true.
Paid your dues with that.
Yeah, I was a roadie. I gotta say that roadie. That's below road manager. Like,
damn,
you assist the road. Damn.
Did you have to iron Play's outfits?
No, Play wore leather.
This is Steve Stoute, ladies and gentlemen. As we get started, Steve Stoute.
Close with Stout.
No, but I was gonna say. But here's what I want to explain. The most exciting era, though, is out of nowhere. You hear about this man named Commissioner Steve Stoute.
The commissioner.
And he's all of a sudden managing Nas. And this is Nas post-Illmatic. The whole world's looking at this guy, right? And what I remember being a critic in the early days of that era was who is this guy? And all of a sudden now Nas's music's changing, his sound's changing, the way he's approaching things is changing.
You were one of those guys.
One of those guys.
Shit.
That the commissioner, because we loved Illmatic. Like, we loved Illmatic, and that was that pure art, and the Source gave it that big 5 mics, and it was like, this is our... So how the fuck do you follow that up? At the end of the day, here comes the commissioner, Steve Stoute. Who is this guy? And, the irony is that the kids today think it was written as an undisputed masterpiece.
You know what? That shit makes me so happy, bro.
Yes.
Because the shit I went through during that time.
See, I'm not lying. So
No.
You'll explain that I tell them the
By the way,
truth.
I had to do 2 things. Like, I had to make the follow-up to Illmatic, and then I had to make the follow-up to Mary J. Blige's My Life.
Ooh,
I'm the executive producer
that.
on Share My World. Wow. And I kept on thinking the entire time, I have to make the follow-up to 2 of the best albums
of all time.
All time. And like, I got to go in there and figure it out. And of course, you want to move the artist forward, but you don't want to fuck up what made the artist and what made them dope. And I mean, My Life is a masterpiece.
Classic.
I mean, what Puff did with that album was just phenomenal. It's hard to believe how him and Chucky and that whole team made that album, and the lyrics and the music, it was so advanced. And obviously, Illmatic is,
I saw you picking up Illmatic on Instagram. You wrote quality top to bottom with no lines off. Thank you for inspiring a generation.
Right. That's right. No lines off. He took no lines off in that whole album.
Wow.
I that's what I want to talk about when you talk about rap music and rap classics. And because you guys are so Rap Radar, are so important to the culture. Elliot, what you do is you're truthful about the origin of the art form. Always make sure, though, like when you do that, like take no lines off. I mean, literally, not one line.
Explain what you mean when you say that to the rappers of today.
No, not one line off. Like from the time that verse starts, the top of the first verse, and you get to the end of that song.
16 bars.
It's 16 bars, and every single word has a purpose. There's not one throwaway line. There's not some bullshit metaphor to get you out of a tough word.
And you don't have to do it in one take, and you don't have to. Yeah, you can write it down too if you want to.
You can do whatever you want. However you get there, you get there. Like, you just got to get there.
No, but don't cats feel like it's cool now to not write it down and then labor over it?
Well, I'm sure cats feel like, why even make sense? Isn't it cool not to make sense?
But talk about that time, though, to go back to it. I'm going to give you a gift after we get past this part, because I got to get this out. I'm so excited. But it's irony to hear how much, and then when I see your stuff, when I see what you do, you love hip-hop, you love rap to your core.
All I want to do is right here is talk about anything hip-hop, era, who did what, produced what. That's all I want to talk about. I love it.
But you was viewed as the complete opposite of that when you jumped in the mix because people didn't know you, I think, and I think the idea that you're going to take a Nas and make him into this commercial thing.
Oh, listen, you know what?
Like, talk about that climate of that.
Well, I love Q-Tip. And it's like, here it goes, though. When I was at the mastering session for I Rule the World, I'm a 25-year-old guy making this guy's record. And Q-Tip is telling me straight up, yo, you sure you want to do this? When I Rule the World, like questioning me.
Wow.
And I'm looking at him and I'm like, is he mad
that
I didn't?
Because that record is a great record. How can anyone question that?
Because, you know, is he mad that he didn't produce on the new album? Because he produced on Illmatic, and maybe it was that. Maybe he's right. Maybe it's not coming from any other place, but, you know, why you put Nas in a commercial place? And I'm sitting there thinking, look, man, it's Lauryn Hill. And I Rule the World is actually Curtis Blow.
Yeah.
Like, what is he,
everything.
Like, what is he talking about?
But that was frowned upon to take popular songs or popular rhythms.
Except when Juicy came out. Yeah. I don't understand all of that. It's almost like nobody wanted Nas to do it.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. It's like nobody wanted.
Didn't.
And that's the part that bothered me. I'm like, oh, he's not supposed to be successful. He's supposed to just be G-Rap. Like G-Rap did something with rap lyrics that was dope. And everybody appreciated what G-Rap did. Nas had the G-Rap thing, but Nas also is a superstar. G-Rap could write his ass off. He wasn't a superstar. Nas is a superstar.
So how did you connect with Nas? And was your goal to turning him at that time was to turn him into a superstar?
No, my goal was to manage him, man. I literally went to the projects and walked right through Queensbridge asking, does anybody know Nas?
Wow.
And like straight up, like just, and it's the kind of person I am. Like if you just know this about me, it'll explain everything about me. I'm walking through the projects, fearless.
You had connects out there?
Zero. I had a Lexus. I had the Lexus. I had the white Lexus, pearlized white Lexus. Walking through the front, and I'm like, does anybody know Nas? And a couple dudes came, pulled out, and it happened to be Wiz and Jungle.
Wow.
And they thought they had beef with some guys from some other projects that's right near there.
Ravenswood?
Ravenswood.
Ravenswood Astoria?
How do you know that? It was
Ravenswood.
We're from
Queens, man.
Queens, man.
I didn't know they had beef with them. They had beef with somebody else.
Well, I'm from Woodside. We had beef with Astoria and Ravenswood.
Yeah, but so they had beef, and like they, you know, and then somebody, Jungle was like, wait a minute. For some strange reason, they're like, this guy is not here with the gun in the car, and like, this is not that. This may be official business.
Yeah, this is a different energy.
And Nas wasn't even living there. Nas had moved to like Kew Gardens or something at that time, but like I didn't know that. I was listening to the records.
What made you go? Like, I'm gonna go find Nas and manage him? Like, where does that come from?
I'm just like, that's who
also,
I am.
he had
man.
a rep of being unmanageable back then.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Elliot, I'm the thing about me is that I'm relentless when I want something. And I will, and I'm very resourceful. And I don't mind looking under anything, or, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. That's what you got to do. There's no handbook. You know, how else was I gonna get to Nas? Everybody else was doing the other thing. Calling his lawyer, calling the record company, trying to do it that way. I'm not doing it that way. I'm going to where he lives.
So where was he at? Do you refresh my memory? So Illmatic came out, it had done well, but he wasn't.
Yeah,
really
you know what?
out there
I didn't like what was happening. I felt like AZ Sugar Hill had come out, and AZ was looking big, and I felt like Nas. I don't know, man. Something drew me to the kid. I felt like something. It was going to be one of those things where he made this album and everybody loved it, and then all of a sudden, nothing happened. You know,
critical acclaim more than
it turns into some critical acclaim, and we don't. And that could have easily happened with him.
Yeah,
back then, definitely.
Not even fully knowing his temperament, right?
The people around him, the shit that he could have got into. You know, that's why him and we talk about all the time. You know, we're the two guys standing, man. We're the last two guys standing. You talk about during that era. You know, it was Biggie and Puff and Damon and Hove and me and Nas. That's how we looked at it.
Yeah.
And, you know, Biggie unfortunately passed, man. And like Damon and Jay went their separate ways. Me and Nas are best friends right now.
Yeah. I saw on his IG, one thing you put up and he had wrote, you saw what I couldn't see and then showed it to me.
That's exactly right. And I appreciate him for saying that because I love him. And we never had a management contract.
Really? Wow.
Nothing. No, man. We just did what we did, man. He's a very, very special person. He's a very, very special person.
So
man.
what was it like putting it was written together from your viewpoint? We was playing a little bit of it when you walked in.
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure because I didn't want to mess anything up. And the hardest thing was when you listen to like the message. Man, and before we put out the album, my first marketing thing that made me
Escobar
dope.
season.
That's so the marketing plan was you, Stoute?
He turned Nasty Nas into Nas Escobar.
Escobar season begins. Repent your sins. Yo,
Wait, let me get the bottle.
we put the mix. Listen to this. We made the mixtape, and we put it inside the Source magazine for the subscribers who got it in the mail.
Wow.
So they had to wrap the Source magazine in the plastic shrink wrap and put the tape in there. And the tape had 3 freestyles on it. Crazy. Wow. Crazy. So you got the freestyles off the rip from the tape or from the joint. And that was the way, and that was me doing 2 things. Covering that I'm coming with I Rule the World. So I wanted to get those rhymes out.
Yeah.
So you didn't think, because you didn't hear him rhyme like in a while. Like he wasn't throwing verses away and shit like that.
On clue tapes or anything.
No,
Not yet.
but you heard the I think the Raekwon verse came out.
Verbal intercourse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you only cute, yeah.
Yeah, he killed it.
Forget that. Right? Forget all of that. But we just wanted to get the rhymes out, and then we did that, and then after we did that, we went for I wanted the first thing on the album to be like, yo, don't think I went anywhere with the rhymes. And it was the first thing was the message. And, you know, that probably was the beginning of, you know, it was like the first jab he had at Hove.
Fake Thug, No Love.
No.
Set in the headrest.
Yeah. TV sets the minimum.
TV sets was the minimum.
Yeah.
So you realized at the time he was tapping Hove at that time? TV sets with Lex. No
well, in
minimum.
fact, when I shot the I Rule the World video, remember, I let that part play first. Remember the video, I Rule the World? He spit all at one love, one
Lex
life, so there could
with
only
TV
be one
sets.
king. One life, one love, so there could only be one king. Then Lauryn Hill comes in. Like, I just wanted everybody, the rhymes wasn't going nowhere, but we're
going here.
We're about to take off. We're about to take flight.
Pink suits and all that, street dreams.
Well, I don't know if the suit was pink, man. Why you had to bring up the suit was pink?
It was fly. R.I.P. to...
But you
a little
brought
gift though, Steve, man. I had to get you a little something, man. He said, you know what he said? Because B-Dot said, yo, tell a rich nigga to bring some vino. You know how he does it at the Kobe game. I was going to be like, if I know Stoute's going to be like, fuck all that. I'm the guest.
Who said that, Ho?
Bring me the thing. No, B-Dot said it.
I said, yeah, Stoute's
I was like, I'll bring the gift, man. It's a little something.
Thank you very much. Listen, bro, we're going to pop this right now. Thank you so much.
Let's do it.
We're going to hit this opus
Opener.
and get into it.
Light one.
we
We
have
have to tell B-Dot. That's a light one. You know, I was last
I'm
minute.
not saying no.
Opus was a light one.
No. It's listen. It's
last minute,
it's not.
Steve.
Listen. Hold on, time out.
It's the thought that counts.
I'm not even shitting on it. Why you? Don't get it
Got that from the gas
You
station or
crazy? Don't
something.
do that. He didn't get it from the gas station. This is the gas.
But we have a reason to celebrate, too. I saw recently in the news, man, you're still connecting these dots. Steve, man, with Gucci and Dapper Dan.
Yeah. Thank you for asking me that, man.
Like,
Yeah.
how does that happen?
Because
You made it right, which is what you've done
how
in
the
this
fuck
culture
could that
forever.
not happen? You know what?
Talking about Dapper Dan and Gucci.
How does Dapper Dan create all the shit that Supreme and all these guys copy to this day and not get paid? Look at the Supreme jacket with the elf red that's Dapper Dan.
Right.
Like, come on, it's no big deal. Like, everybody was jacking this guy and he didn't get his just due. They shut him down in the early 80s. And, you know, I feel like it's my job. I always felt like that. I don't care what anybody say. Like, anybody who knows me well enough knows, man. I had a day this summer where I literally left my family. I left my daughter and I went to 125th. I had to go see Kool Herc to get him to do the Google Doodle when they took over that thing on August 4th because they couldn't get him. So I had to find Kool Herc. I had to meet Kool Herc in Harlem, and it was a hard time to even get to him. And then he was late. Then I went to Dapper Dan's house, who lived like 6 blocks away because I was meeting him at the Red Rooster. Went to Dapper Dan till Herc got there, sat with Dapper for a bit. Then Herc called me, went back there, met with Herc, got him to agree that he was going to allow his image to be used for the Google Doodle thing. And then went back to see to see Dapper. And I'm like, I don't think anyone's ever done this.
Wow.
I'm with Kool Herc and Dapper Dan the same day, actually working for them for free.
That's crazy.
That's what I do. Like, it's about moving culture forward. I'm not making that up. I don't just use it as a hashtag or a joke. But my whole thing, whether it was the Jay-Z sneak in the beginning, the Jay-Z blue, to the HP shit with Jay-Z half by, I get really excited about it.
Yeah, you love it.
I really get excited about it. It's not like a fake feeling.
It's like is it like dropping a hit record or a platinum album? Like when you get a marketing piece or commercial off the right way or a campaign the right way, does it give you that rush of like
it feels like just like that. Like we did the Super Bowl commercial with the NFL last year and we put dead presidents in it. Like we did this commercial with the outline of the United States and I put dead presidents in it. I'm like, I love the fact that we got dead presidents off. On the Super Bowl commercial. I love that kind of stuff. I love the AI. When I look at the AI, Jadakiss thing, I'm like,
Reebok.
Man, I can't even believe I did this shit.
They played that shit on the radio.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
They were playing
the sneaker squeaks and all that shit, right?
But man, Tone, Trackmasters, and everybody was eating.
Yeah. You know who loves Trackmasters?
I do.
This gentleman to your right.
Trackmasters. I mean, before we get to Trackmasters, I want to talk more a little bit about Gucci and Dapper Dan.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, we fucked up the cork. It's all good.
Yeah, I fucked up the cork. But you know what it is?
We'll get it right.
We'll get there. We won't get cork in this wine. Don't worry about it.
So with Gucci and Dapper Dan, like, how did you bring them into a mutual place, and like, what's gonna come about of that?
Okay, so check this out.
Oh yeah, we didn't even finish that.
Right.
I'm sorry. Good job, B-Dot.
The interview's going well.
Too many notes, man.
The interview's going well so far. So far, so good.
South says you got 20 minutes.
No, I didn't say that. So check this out here, okay? Boom. Oh, you got something in this.
You got some white in there.
Yeah, I'm not pouring on that. Come on, man. What you doing, man? I got you right behind. No, I got you right here. You good?
We're gonna need another glass.
Oh shit, we need another glass. So there's a piece that comes out that Gucci made that looked like it was inspired by a Dapper Dan piece that he made from Louis Vuitton in the early 80s. Now, the woman who wore it was Diane Dixon. She's like a Olympian. Like, so she had to join on. She takes the pictures. Gucci makes something that's inspired by that. The internet goes crazy.
Right.
There's a guy who I know who's at Gucci, who runs all their marketing, who I actually met 20 years ago when I had first started doing the S-Dots with Reebok, because he worked at Armani, and Armani wanted to make sneakers as well. And they actually brought us in. They were going to do a collab with Reebok. This is like 1999, 2000. And me and that guy always stayed in contact. We didn't do the collab, but him and I stayed in contact. 20 years later, he's over running things at Gucci. And, there was some talk about Gucci copying Dapper and what was going on. And there was an article that came out, and I was quoted in it. And he was like, boom, I know Steve. So he called me, and this whole thing started. Then the head designer over at Gucci, Alessandro, is really like a Italian street kid who loves Dapper Dan and loves what he stood for. And it was truly inspiration, and they were like, look, man, we want to make this thing work. And shit, man, we're doing something tremendous. I mean, I can't, it's tremendous. When people find out what this is not regular. This is not going to be like,
it's not it's going
to be like,
oh, no. It's not going to be like a shirt that got Dapper on it. No, this is going to be a full
You're almost
thing.
legitimizing what we did counterculture back then.
And that's all I want. And you know what? Check. Move on. Check. Move on. That's why I wrote The Tanning of America. That's why all of these things were meant so that it'll never, ever get forgotten. We're not going to let this thing happen where people forget the impact that we made that's going to last a lifetime and generations. I'm not going to let it happen.
Right.
I'm just not going to let it happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too. Like, to go a little forward
Go ahead,
was
cheers.
cheers.
Man.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good pickup,
You
Elliot.
was president of Interscope. Thanks, B-Dot.
You went for the, before you even tasted it. Man. You had a premeditated,
But people
You gotta
don't
wait for the
realize.
whole shit.
But Steve, people don't realize. Commissioner, people don't realize. First of all, why are you the commissioner? We never. What's the R? Who called you? Was Poke Tone or Nas?
No, Nas.
How'd
called
you
me
come to the commissioner?
Nas called me the commissioner. I think he got it from Batman. I don't know where he got it from.
Yes,
I think he got it from
commissioner.
Batman. But I know that they wanted me to, like, in videos back then, he was gonna like I was gonna like grab the red phone, just my hand and shit. And I was like, I didn't want to do videos and all that. I mean, I just wasn't in.
You're not in any videos? Can we catch you in
One or
one?
two. You could probably see me in nothing. No, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Nothing. No, I would never do that. Like I really took my job seriously. I didn't think because I was in the entertainment business that I shouldn't have taken it like seriously, like if I was a mechanic. Like I took it like that. I didn't take the entertainment part of the business and then be like, spend more time on the entertainment part and less time on the business.
But the
I spent time
commissioner
on the
thing
business.
took off though. The nickname.
People still call me that. You know what? I'm yeah. You know, the commissioner thing took off, and I think that I've done a decent job living up to the reputation of what I stand for in the industry, and you know, I'm happy with it. The moniker's cool. The commissioner.
Speaking of what you stand for, like people don't realize that. To me, also remembering your career trajectory, like as president of Interscope, you're like what 29, 30 years old. You're kind of at the height of the business, at the height of
That's crazy.
and all of a sudden you leave the business. You leave the music business.
Yeah.
I remember it was such a big deal, and then you started getting on this new path with the advertising world. Like, what made you do it? And that was such a bold move because back then having a big record label job was the ultimate.
Yeah, you know what? Happiness is something that you hear it a lot. Now everybody's an inspirational. Everybody's Tony Robbins on the internet. They go on Instagram. There's 55 black Tony Robbins.
Right.
Yeah, everybody's Tony Robbins.
We weren't doing that back then.
Yeah, but what I was thinking was, this is very important. When an industry doesn't know the difference between good and great, that industry's in trouble. Okay?
Talking about the music industry back then.
Anything. Well, no disrespect to these great men, but like when you have Ludacris, Ja Rule, and Nelly selling more records than Jay-Z, the industry doesn't know the difference between good and great. The people don't know. Those things was really happening.
Yeah,
And they were guys that weren't really talented making big salaries. That's the same thing that took place in the housing crisis. They were giving anybody a loan. The same thing in the music business. When there was so much money in the market, they were paying anybody anything. And everybody was getting a record deal. And everybody was taking the radio. And everything was... And when you see stuff like that happening, it's not rewarding. It's like you could do it for the money, but it's not rewarding. Imagine that you're being in an industry and nobody knows the difference between your version of the truth and everything else. Like that, what is your history for? What is all your wisdom for? If it just looks like what everybody else says. So Jay-Z goes doing all this shit to write these rhymes, and then somebody else sells way more records than him with nothing, hollow words and unfinished verses. Like when an industry is in that place, you got to watch that industry. That's all I'm saying. And I was in it.
2004, right?
No. That's 2000, 2001.
By the time music was good, though, no?
No.
Yes.
It was-
98,
there was a-
99,
time out.
2000?
No. You're saying 98. I didn't say 98.
All right, 2001.
I said, 2000, 2001. I'm not saying the music wasn't good. There was a lot of it. The inside of a record company, there was a bunch of executives, like, you just got this big job. You paying them $750,000 to do who?
Yeah.
He's a bum. How you paying that bum?
Right.
So you having the big title it was negated in a sense you felt because it was like if
Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah. I had a big job. Great. A lot of guys had big jobs. They were giving away big jobs.
So you chose
What
credibility.
made you feel like advertising was your calling, and now you because now you must.
I'm
be
gonna tell you
proud
what
of
happened.
people
I'm gonna tell you what happened. We did the Men in Black soundtrack. Boom. We sell 10 million of those things. That's right. The glasses Will Smith sold more than the album.
The glasses he wore.
The Ray-Ban
man.
wafers.
Yeah.
And the company that did the product placement on that, I said, you know what? I want to get down with them. I want to understand that. Because I could make more money and be more impactful to the culture if I understood how to monetize around it rather than just being another guy in the record business. But I had to go back to school. I had to go back to school. And I literally left a multi-million-dollar job to go inside the advertising agency beginning to learn for $150,000. These are facts.
Yeah. You took a major step back.
I took a major step back for 2 years and I learned. And I started getting busy. And I came at it sideways. Like I was like, okay, you know, when we're gonna do AI and Jadakiss,
the Reebok.
you know, we're gonna get Hype Williams to shoot the commercial. He don't shoot commercials, and we're gonna do the court like this, and Tone's gonna make the beat. And like, imagine if you just made the beat out of squeaking and the ball bouncing. How crazy dumb is that? And like things like that. And then we did I did another one that wasn't so good, but it was still a right idea. I was swinging and missing, but I had a chance to swing and miss. I did Scarface and Steve Francis.
Oh, I do remember.
Yeah,
that. I remember.
we did a Scarface and Steve Francis spot. Then we did Fabulous. Remember, he had the Air Force Ones, but they weren't Air Force Ones. They were meant to look like Air Force Ones. And he bit a jelly donut and it got the
I remember those commercials.
like if your Air Force Ones get dirty, you got to bring them back. Like I was just doing a bunch of stuff, and I was experimenting and learning. And then we did the G units, and that went crazy. And then the Pharrell ice creams, and those went crazy.
You talk about learning a lot. So recently, like on social media, there's
It's
this
very
clip.
important that you know. So all these hip hop guys with sneakers right now, that was the beginning of it.
Right.
Well, also, it's funny that we see now this whole thing. Sorry to be that,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
like,
say.
it reminds me that like, no disrespect, but the Nike Air Force One, the Rockefeller, like there was a big, I was obviously huge when it came out. And
No, but they weren't paying nobody.
No,
They
I know.
they
So I'm
was
leading to,
stitching
yeah.
the logo on the back. Like Nike wasn't paying you. They're putting the logo on the back and giving them away and get everybody walking around like they got on Rockefeller Air Force Ones. Meanwhile, no one's making any money. That's not cool. And you know what? That's how weird and untouchable the sneaker category was. Because Dame was very bullish on the Rockefeller brand and Jay-Z. Like he wasn't giving nobody any dibs on that without paying full fucking retail. So for him, you understand what I'm saying about paying? Like you have to pay to get in.
I remember.
So, but when it came to sneakers, it was almost like you can't do nothing with sneakers anyway because you can't start a sneaker company. Like literally, the reason why Jay-Z was even could make the S Carters, they had Rockaware. Rockaware allowed a pass for him to make sneakers because they weren't gonna make sneakers. That's how obscene it was, like a rapper selling sneakers. Why? I'm like, why wouldn't a rapper sell sneakers? People don't wear sneakers because they make them jump higher and run faster. That's not true. They want to look fresh.
For the look, yeah. Match
So
it
if you're gonna make it
outfit.
for the look, match the hat, match the thing, who's better than that than Hove?
So you think at that time, so that was part of you and Jay coming together on the Reebok thing, because why are you doing that when we can get you your own shoe and we can make this
That's
thing
right.
happen?
And Jay, and by the way, if Jay-Z, for him to say, I will do a partnership with Reebok.
Back then.
Back then, he was aware of it. You know, you was a Reebok vandal.
You know, you wish Chanel sandals.
Now you wish, like Reebok was getting shitted on. Why would he do that? He believes in himself so much that he didn't give a fuck what, he was gonna change your point of view on it.
Yeah. I'm gonna make it hot.
Right,
I'm gonna make that shit hot. The worst shit, I'm gonna make hot. And he did.
So was that why? Because it seemed like that was the big thing too. It seemed like here you are, Dame did rule Rockefeller with an iron fist in that way, but then here you are now in a different way, doing business with Jay-Z.
Yeah, well, that was obviously a problem.
You don't say.
Oh,
But was it a problem before the shoe was successful? Because the shoe was successful, what, 10,000 out the gate, right? Like an hour and a half?
Yeah, we went down to Philly. My man JP, we went down to Philly, went down to your hood, Open up that store on South Street South Street and just destroyed. We sold 10,000 of them in an hour.
And they were selling for how much at the time?
They were expensive. They must have been $1.
Wow.
It was definitely over $1. Then we went around the world. We had to, we took a plane, put S Carter
I remember that, yeah.
on the as the tail number. Literally landed in London. Red carpet comes out. Jay walks down, does the press conference right from the FBO. But nobody still did this idea. I don't understand this. Like you land a plane,
Right.
the shit rolls out, and you stand right there and do the press conference, get back on the plane, fly to Italy, do that shit again. Like you just don't leave. You just land, like you land, like I don't even go inside of the world.
Yeah.
You just land, the press meets you at the airport with the red carpet and the
Give
podium.
them that time. We off to the next.
You know how dope that, it's just a visual.
Drive-bys. They're like plane bys.
Like plane bys, flybys.
So
Fly by your hood.
right? You mentioned someone like Jay, and like I said, was alluding to earlier, I saw on social media that there's this clip of you talking about like 10 artists that know the music business. Obviously, Jay would be one of those artists. What do you mean by that? Like,
I just think that, the artists get into the record business, they're fulfilling their dreams, man. They wanna be a star. They wanna entertain people. They want to. They're an artist, and that's their job, to be great artists. Unfortunately, the industry itself is not necessarily favorable to artists just wanting to be artists. In fact, the industry is taking advantage of the fact that people wanted to be artists notoriously, own their masters, shorted them, paid them with their own money, had made decisions for the label that were not necessarily for the benefit of the artists themselves. And that's why a lot of artists end up broke. Everybody wants to say they end up broke because they're just spending money and doing crazy shit. That's not true. You know, there's some truth to any young person making money, doing crazy shit and living their life. But the fact of the matter is, the money was never right. They never got the money. They never received the money that was equal to the impact that they've made. So a lot of it was, shit, you running around saying that you got me signed to the label to sign 20 other acts, and like you just using me that way. And you own my masters. It's crazy. And owning the masters is it's almost like the equivalent of you renting an apartment, but you have to pay for all of the renovations. That's what it's like.
Crazy.
You pay for all of it, you pay for all this shit, but they own it.
All right.
So they take the money out of your money, the renovations, but they own the apartment. The fuck, who does that?
Right.
It's the only business that people, photographers, like if you're a photographer, when your rights as a photographer, you retain those rights. They have to go back to you to get those rights. So you know all this.
Yeah.
In the music business, they'll sign a guy up, pay him money, he's 18 years old, pay him whatever, lock him up, whether it be 5 albums, 7 albums, 3 albums, whatever it is. You shouldn't be locked up to shit.
That's why I see you championing disruptors like the Frank Ocean Blonde album.
Yeah.
I see you bigging up Chance the Rapper. Like, it's funny, again, you want to shake up the business. You even said there's going to be a huge revolution in the music business.
Yeah, because the huge revolution is that, I'm getting back in the music business.
Is this the announcement?
No, it's not. I mean,
we got an announcement.
we're going. I'm going back. I'm going back in the music business. The company's called United Masters. And United Masters, Charlie Chaplin is Charlie Chaplin's story. Charlie Chaplin actually started United Artists because in the film industry, if you were signed to Paramount, let's say, you would sign to them for a bunch of films. And Paramount actually owned theaters. So you'd be a Paramount actor, and your films would only be distributed in Paramount theaters. And the government broke that up. But Charlie Chaplin started United Artists to break up that monopoly. And it was the artists doing it for themselves. So I'm going back in the industry, building United Masters, where the artists own their masters. They should own their rights. And I always felt like an advertising company and a music company should be together. Def Jam could have been a great advertising agency. Interscope could have been because they were on the edge of culture. right? Like, so putting together a music company and an advertising
So you
company.
keep in translation and combining it with the United Managers.
Because everybody wants those services anyway. So the fact of the matter is we have creators, storytellers, and now we're going to start music distribution. And the key is, with our company, we actually hired a bunch of engineers. Like, not hired a bunch of engineers, got great, talented engineers to be a part of the company. Guys who, built newsfeed at Facebook and shit like that. And because what we're going to be able to do is the artists are going to be able to get their data and be able to market to their super fans directly.
You always say that 88 was like the best year in rap. Do you think that...
He went to 88.
No, because you always say that 88 was the best year in rap. Do you feel like now is giving it a run for its money?
Right now to 88?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great time to be in the music business, it seems like, with streaming. And...
hold on. The best year in rap, 88, is about, look at the release schedule. 88.
Okay.
Look, pull up the release schedule, 88.
Big Daddy Kane's and
Big Daddy Kane, Public Enemy, NWA, Eazy-E.
Classic release.
Yeah, pull up, there's 18 of them.
But
1988 albums. Go ahead.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think 90 is better. But to your point.
Well, I think, look, I was talking about this yesterday, actually. I put in errors, like 87 to 89. The words are just crazy. The Great Adventures of Slick Rick, 88.
Yep, that's true.
You look at that, and then what happens is, boom, you get this great body of work, and then everybody now invests in it. So now a bunch of artists get record deals, a bunch of all this stuff happens. Then the Fushnikins gets then the Fushnikins happen.
He didn't like that Shaq shit.
I like Shaq. I'm just fucking around. But what happens is that's what happens. So the art gets big, it's credible, it gets big, and then all of a sudden money comes in. Then there's a bunch of guys who are not as talented as the...
So the 90s more could get in, that wouldn't have got in the 80s, basically. Talent level.
No, and then then there was another wave in the 90s with, Nas, Biggie, Wu-Tang, all that. But there was a lull between 89 and 91. There was a musical lull.
And we had the Hammer Vanilla Ice thing hanging over us. And all
you
that.
said that.
Yeah.
And then,
I know, that was part of it, though. You don't think so? That hurt the spirit.
I always,
but now we respect Hammer more.
I've always respected Hammer.
But he took
for what he did.
then.
He took. You know what? The first guy
an entertainer.
The first guy on the dance floor always takes jabs.
Yeah.
You're the first guy on the dance floor. You can't that's what happens.
Two-step ain't right.
Yeah. But you get other people to get up and dance, right?
Yeah.
That's what Hammer did. Whether you liked it or not, right? He was the one who said
analogy.
He took it global because the dance part.
Either way, yeah. It's double entendre.
Yeah. I mean, fucking this opus works.
It still works. Trackmasters. I want you to talk about. Tell them how much you. Because I was like, the funny thing is that everything song he loves of that era is Trackmasters. And I'm like, we have Stoute is Trackmasters.
Yeah, we have these debates often about the best producers in hip hop, and usually the top 10. I always put the Trackmasters up there, like, in the top 10, and people give me hell for it. I'm like,
who cares?
How can you?
So let's show you.
Explain the Trackmasters to people that don't know, because I feel like they're kind of the most unsung, accomplished producers if you look at the stats.
If you go from...
And they don't do press. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Poke and Tone won't talk. We've been begging the whole time, right, Steve? I've been begging Tone to speak to me forever, but he won't.
I mean, Ill Street Blues. I mean, they made that.
Cool G Rap.
Right? So they making G-Rap's record. Candy Rain. They made that.
So for real.
Classic.
Right? One More Chance.
Woo,
they made that. Like, I Rule the World, this, that.
LL
Hey
Cool
Lover. They made that.
Lounging.
Then Foxy Brown, that whole album. They made that. Then Tone makes the Fiesta. I mean, I don't want to talk about this guy. You guys are crazy. There's nothing to talk about. Range and time.
Talk to Jermaine Dupri, because we had an argument about it.
That,
what did Jermaine say?
He disputed me. Because he felt at the time we had
What did he say?
Oh my God.
Well, Opus, please.
What did he say?
That wants to know.
He said that because I was giving him, I don't remember exactly verbatim because I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I mentioned, I believe, Trackmasters, you could, top 10 in hip hop, but he felt that he belonged in the top 10 for hip hop. I disputed that.
How does he deserve to be in the top 10 for hip hop?
I don't know. I love Jermaine.
Jermaine Dupri is a great producer for sure.
Definitely.
For sure. And Confessions is ridiculous.
Classic.
And the record and the Mariah album he made was ridiculous.
Mimi.
Yeah.
Emancipation.
Like, yeah. Like in hip hop, he made a couple joints, Money Ain't a Thing, whatever. Yeah. But like, he wasn't comparing himself. He's saying that he's.
No, I was giving him my list because when we had him on the show.
The top producers mentioning names.
Right.
First of all, by the way, let me just say, love Jermaine Dupri. Him and I have been friends for a very, very long time.
But he doesn't get enough of his due.
We're both big Dallas Cowboys fans.
To be fair to him, he doesn't get enough.
He gets his just due.
I don't think from critics, I don't think he does.
I don't think people even give producers just due.
Not anymore in this
era. So I think producers got left out. Like DJs got left out.
Yeah.
You know, like
but you felt at the time Trackmasters was the only one kind of competing with Puffy at his height with the Hitman. People don't realize how formidable that was.
We was destroying those dudes.
They kind of, if you look at the stats, I don't say destroying, but it was giving
Poke and Toe was killing the Hitman?
Well, yeah. Look, first of all, D-Dot, Nasheem, dope, talented dudes. But Kanye was doing some of those records.
Oh, the ghost. I mean, that's true.
There was a lot of ghost action.
So a good battle is Poke and Tone just straight up against D-Dot and Nasheem. That's a good battle.
Yeah, there was a lot of eating off the edges, D-Dot.
Trackmasters definitely don't get just do though.
Irv also doesn't get a lot of credit for being a great producer.
Why does Irv call you Charlie? He did it in the podcast. Charlie.
You have no idea how stupid that joke is, but it's funny as
But
hell.
He stays with it
because it's
not as good as the Commissioner
in Casino. You remember in Casino when the guy he put his head in the thing in the
vice
in the vice.
Charlie
and he says,
M.
You did that for Charlie M? I'm Charlie M. I have no idea how I became Charlie M. But you doing that to protect Charlie M?
You dumb motherfucker.
No, to give you said new generation, they love inspiration, they love ambition, they love to hear these stories of like failing and reinventing yourself. Before the reinvention, though, the whole thing with Trackmasters, though, correct me if I'm wrong, was the day you met Tone and he asked you to manage Trackmasters and got involved with them was the day you got fired from your record company job.
Facts.
Wow.
I was in Green Acres Mall.
Green Acres Mall. He knows about the side of that is.
Who does it?
Yeah, I was in Green Acres Mall. And I seen Tone. And at the time I had you could go to a producer, you can give them the acapella, and they would basically make the beat on the acapella.
Yeah, like a blend tape.
Like a blend tape, and it was almost like their demo for the remix. And I had music that I'd given to Tone. I was waiting for him to come back with the demo, and I seen him in the mall. I'm like, yo, what's up? I ran into him.
You remember what it was?
Yes.
You gonna say what it was?
No, it was terrible. It was trash. It was early Steve Stoute's trash work. But anyhow, I gave it to Tone, and he probably didn't want to do it because it was trash. He made the right call. But he came to my office, we set up time, and let's say we were supposed to have a meeting at 10. He shows up at 10:45. But I have an 11 o'clock meeting, and he's on the phone dealing with some crazy shit at home. So I'm like, look, I got a meeting with my boss at 11, so you can finish your crazy shit. When I come back, we could talk about...
This is RCA Records. You was at
I was at RCA. Yeah. I was at RCA Record, A&R. Clue was my assistant. Rob Walker was there. That's when I met
Pharrell.
Yeah, that's how Rob Walker found Pharrell. And
going to the meeting.
Going to the meeting. I come back 11:17 with no fucking job. And he's sitting in my office.
How do you fire Steve Stoute? I can't imagine anybody. Is that the last time anybody ever fired you?
That'll be the only time anyone has the opportunity to fire me.
Wow.
Right.
So the guy goes, the guy who fired me is famous too. The guy fires me.
Who is this guy?
Yeah.
Do you snub him at cocktail parties?
No.
You give him a bear hug?
He's actually a really famous guy. He passed away. That's why his name is Skip Miller. Okay. He actually was the guy who discovered Lionel Richie.
Wow.
But there was a lack of understanding of hip hop and urban back then.
Well, they were
Yeah.
letting go. They let go. Capitol Records fired the entire hip hop division.
Yeah.
Like the record labels were disbanding hip hop. They didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Again, this is what I was saying. Like all the money comes in, and everybody wants the instant returns. Like, how come we can't have a Hammer or we can't have a
Garth Brooks
or whatever? No. See, Garth Brooks is selling. Michael Bolton is selling. You know, Kenny G is selling. All that shit is still selling.
Bring it off.
And by the way, a little bit in the R&B shit is selling. Tony Braxton's selling. This is selling. So why do you need to do this shit and deal with these guys and deal with this?
Their entourages and the
why do you have to deal with that?
Yeah.
And like and the batting average of real money making success is low. So record companies who weren't connected, if you didn't have a Dante Ross or somebody who could like do the thing,
culture,
then you just might as well just not even do it. And they were disbanding, so it was easy for them to get. They were firing me, but they were really firing
the whole
black music,
right?
You know, and I was just part of it. The only group they kept was SWV.
Wow.
Right. So anyhow, when I come back in, I'm like Tone, and he's like, I said, what am I going to do? He's like, I said, I could manage you. And they were just in the middle of the Soul For Real album. Wow. And I heard Candy Rain and what they were doing. And at that time, producers weren't getting, they were still like, if you were the guy like a Puff or Jermaine or whomever it was, you were close to the record company, you were close to the artist, you were the gatekeeper. So all the other producers that came in would be like, they wouldn't get to shine. Mm-hmm. So my whole thing was like, you guys, we're gonna give you guys a shine. And we're not, and I there was a couple things that I instituted that became law. Like if I do 3 or 4 records on your album, we're the executive producer. If not, then we're not doing it.
Yeah, because you was like, I'm not giving you singles.
I'm not giving you the singles and then eating off of like, you know, you get paid equally. Like I want to get, if I'm doing 3 or 4 records, I am not making the singles and everybody else is eating off of me. Like I'm the executive producer. I want album points, plus I want, you know, points on our single, which is higher than.
How were you able to get that? You had the first.
No, the answer's called, just no, I'm not doing it. We're not doing it. I'm sorry. Then I created these thing called song deals, which like they didn't even exist. Like, how about this? Rather than paying us $100,000 a track, because that's what I'm charging you, I'll charge you $75,000 a track, but you buy 20 up front.
But how did that momentum start? You're coming from being fired RCA,
because I was on the inside. I knew.
No, but what did it first click? Like, what was the first thing that clicked with you guys that you could build yourself to have that leverage in the business? Like, what was the first thing you guys?
Well, So For Real came out.
The Candy Rain success. Came out.
Yeah, and then probably Hey Lover and all that. The LL Cool J album.
He brought LL back.
Monster,
one of LL's many comebacks.
Definitely.
Yeah, we definitely, man. And you know what? I've known LL for God knows how. I grew up idolizing him because I used to see him in the neighborhood. I seen LL Cool J battle guys at Green Acres Mall. And I seen him, you know, on Jamaica Avenue, shopping at VIMs and in the Coliseum.
Right.
You know, Shirt Kings and all that. So I'd see him, block parties, the whole package. And I was always like, I looked up to him. So when Chris Lighty asked me to work on the project, like we worked on the project and it was like, we're going to make, and we had Foxy signed. Tone found Foxy Brown. That's how she got on I Shot You.
You said
who shot you?
Il Nana was the hardest project though for y'all, right? You said it was the hardest project to make.
Well, that was another thing, man. I actually bet Puff on that she would sell more records than Kim on that album, and she did.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah, Get You Home was a monster, and that's Hove. But you know what? Hove wrote the album, man. It was Tone and Hove. That's how all that R. Kelly and all that stuff that took place afterwards, their relationship started there. When Tone and they did the Michael Jackson remix, they did the Maya remix. Tell Stoute to holler at me, man.
Did you ask for that shout out? That's what Genius says.
No.
Tell Stoute to holler at me, man.
Yeah. He's like, you know, Jay. How does that work? Why don't you try that?
What was you hollering at?
Why don't you?
I've been waiting for a shout out for 20 years.
You're gonna get gray hair waiting for it.
I forgot about that shout out too.
Tell Stoute to holler at me.
I told just now, like a focus,
That was
man.
classic.
Tell Stoute that.
But that's the drop off intro shout out. You do get shout out a lot of records. We'll get to that at the end though. I have a couple of references to the shout outs.
It's not always great.
Yeah, they talk about the Puffy situation sometimes.
Yeah.
So is that such an allure? Like what's the issue? Like do you does it bother you that comes up a lot, that people think that, associate that with your name?
No, it doesn't happen anymore. In fact, I spoke to Puff this morning.
Wow.
The thing that nobody ever talks about to me, and whether it be the Nas, J beef, or thing with Puffy, is that could have turned into a jail, guns, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
When there's mutual respect, I respect Puff, man. I've always respected him. I've known this guy. I was thinking about this. I was in his office. He had a Bobby Brown cutout, a life-size Bobby Brown cutout, like Bobby Brown, like a 5'5" Bobby Brown thing. Where you put, where the CDs would be in
like the in store,
like like pull a CD from his vest and shit. And well, I was in his office when Magic Johnson announced that he had AIDS. Wow. So it was like 92 or 91. Wow. Like, and I heard You Remind Me. I heard the soundtrack for it was called Go Natalie at first.
Strictly Business.
Strictly Business. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Strictly Business.
Go Natalie. Now she was in Strictly.
Go Natalie was the first name of the movie, and then it was the first Halle Berry thing.
Strictly Business then.
Was that Strictly Business? Yeah. Okay. It was originally called Go Natalie.
Yeah.
And I heard that soundtrack. And it was just like I've known the man from that long. And like the fact that we went through that thing and Hate Me Now and
But what was it? Did he ask to be taken out the video and you wouldn't take him out of it?
I didn't take him out. Sony spent $1 million, man. There's a guy named Donnie Ienner, this guy who was a racist pig at Sony, running Columbia, running Columbia. This is the same guy who dropped Alicia Keys, who dropped 50 Cent. He was just a complete asshole. And like, he spent $1 million to make this video, even though he's charging Nas $875,000 of that $1 million. But at the time, nobody really knows that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And like, he wasn't going to let that scene of the guys on the cross come out. That was half of $1 million.
Wow.
Puff wanted it. I was trying to go back and forth to keep it in, but I didn't ultimately have the call. I was a 26. Now I'm maybe 27 years old. Now I definitely like that version for sure, but it wasn't like it was my decision. I could be like, no, put that in versus. I didn't have that kind of control.
Well, we remember even culturally, like he's a fan watching on TRL when they debuted the video.
It was a TRL, yeah.
It was like Driller, like it was like a big reveal.
It was a big, yeah. It was a big deal, and that's it's unfortunate. And like the first thing I had him do, man, when he had to call my mom, and he called my mom. He didn't know my mom. He called my mom, and because I needed to get my mom, she knew I was in a, like you don't want your mom thinking you're in a business where you could die anytime and all that kind of shit. Meanwhile, you could back then. I didn't want her to feel that feeling, and it took years, and then we got to a place where we respect one another, and I respect him. And it was challenging for me, man, to feel like I was gonna be the person that was a victim walking around and the butt of a joke or whatever. But that actually motivated me to be like, I'm never gonna be known as that guy. I'm gonna put my fucking numbers up. Like a guy who misses a shot and he's like, you're not gonna remember me for missing that game winner.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna put numbers up. And I just started putting up numbers. Boom, 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 boom.
Did Puff just want to be in the video at all? Like,
no, he didn't want to be in that scene. He had a reverend
scene,
came in and thought it was sacrilegious that he was on a cross. It's like, well, then why'd you get on the cross?
Right.
But you brought the priest in too late. But anyhow, that was it. It was really it. 4 guys walked.
But it
in,
wasn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 4 guys walk in, they jump me in the office. TRL's on that 3-0, whatever time it was. They're in my office after that. And that was 99.
I always said, Steve, back then people were sending facts, and that's when you knew something was real. And there was already facts, and like there was an incident or something that happened. Like, that's the culture.
It was tough. I mean, it was tough for me to deal with. And you got to know, and if there's anybody that I could touch with this, is like, you go through adversity, and it's through that adversity do you find who you really are. Mm. And I'm not the type of guy to run around and use my money to hire an army of killers or do some crazy. Yeah. I'm not that. I felt like that, but that's not really who I am. I'm not that type of person, man. I want to build a great business and do great things in this world. I don't want to, let my ego get me locked behind bars. Yeah. Because I felt was I disrespected? Absolutely. That I felt disrespected? Yeah. I had to figure out a way to like not let that define me.
Yeah. How did y'all get to a better place?
How do we get to a better place? It took years.
It wasn't about people.
I remember it took years. I remember one time nobody could fix that. It was us. And he was very, very adamant to fix it. And the guy, we would speak on a regular basis about, we would talk about it. We would talk about what we are, what we mean. Mm. He's never, ever, ever told me no. If I ask him for anything, he always says yes. Mm. He's never, ever told me no. It's just like you meet people and you get like that aside, the level of respect. It's like Nas and Jay. It's like,
oh, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, but it's like